Hello, good evening. It's Friday evening. It is back to our usual slot. This is, of course, over and over at the Arsenal Women's Channel, and this is Richard Andreas Talk Awfc. So what are we going to be looking back on tonight? Well, of course, 2 wins out of 2 for the start of the season. We're looking back, of course, that great win last Friday, of course, this time last week when we beat West Ham 5-1. We're going to look back on that game. Of course, today it was the Champions League draw. The group stage draw. So we're going to have a look ahead to that as well. And of course, this weekend, it's a big game. The top 2 in the WSL go head-to-head, of course, at Lee Sports Village. We face Manchester United. That is going to be a massive game to look forward to, isn't it? So it's going to be a great show, as always. So make sure you stay tuned. Coming up after this. So it is, of course, the weekly show, as always, and of course, it is great pleasure to welcome, of course, the Lord Andreas is with us. Of course, he is. How are you this week?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, not bad at all, and looking forward to an interesting show with a lot to talk about.
Yes. There is a lot to talk about, as always. John's with us. He says, "Look at me being on time, the first time for everything." Well, it's good that you made it at the start this week. That's great to see. I hope you're doing well. So, of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show there, of course, this time last week we were just kicking off, weren't we? That second game of the season, and what a good victory it turned out to be. Now, of course, in the end, a bit like the first game against London City Lionesses, it was a very similar type game, wasn't it? We started slowly, found ourselves a goal down, and then came back and obviously won fairly comfortably in the end. Overall, I thought it was a good performance, actually. I thought we did a good job. If we forget the first 10 or 15 minutes again, why we're so slow at starting, I don't know. This is a hangover from last season as well, many games, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and you can't really complain with the way that we turned that game around. Again, the second half performance was sensational. We scored 4 goals in the second half. We could have scored a few more. The substitutions, again, made a big difference to the way the team performed and helped us get the result. And yeah, I mean, the first 2 games in, I don't think we could, apart from 2 clean sheets, we couldn't really have asked for too much more. I mean, Andreas, I thought the West Ham performance, yes, the first 10, 15 minutes was not great, but after that, we were brilliant again, wasn't we?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it was nearly a blueprint to the first game. First 20, 25 minutes, we were sloppy, not really in the game, and of course, we conceded this goal. Terrible weather conditions, the ball was wet and everything, but of course Daphne made a big mistake. She knows it, everybody saw it. She normally has this ball, clears this ball, but I think she was surprised herself. She wanted to catch it, and it slipped through her hands, and then unfortunately against the post and against her body, and it was in. If this happens more often, we would say we have a problem in goalkeeper position. But it was, I think, the first really big mistake from her for months, and it happens. And if a goalkeeper makes such a mistake, then please do it in the first minutes that you have 85 minutes left to turn things around. And fortunately, we could turn things around. But it took a while, and I think this is a problem that must be analyzed by Renee, by the coaches team. Why do we need so much time, 20, 25 minutes, to find into the game? And what happens if an opponent scores a second goal and we are trailing then 2-0? And I think we can't do this on Sunday against United, against a really good team. So, the second half was, of course, brilliant. And as it was a week before against LCL, we should have scored more. 5-1, 6-1 would have, 5. What was 5-1? 6-1, 7-1 would have been a realistic result. And we have to analyze our problems in the first 15, 20, 25 minutes. I think first half for me, Beth Mead was our best player. Yeah. After this sloppy start, she was a real threat for she was a real threat for the opponents. And second half, I think I would give the prize to Caitlin Ford. And it's always difficult for defenders if you have to play against Caitlin Ford, if your legs get tired. And Caitlin never gives up. She always comes again. And what I said is, defender must think, oh no, not again. She's coming again? No, please not. And she was very good in second half. Over the whole 90 minutes, it was okay that Alessia Russo got player of the match. She scored 2 goals. Wonderful fourth goal. And once again, our squad depth, our bench was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, the squad now is, I think overall, the squad's strong. Yes, we've mentioned before, certain 1 or 2 areas of the team, maybe we don't quite have the depth as we do elsewhere, but the forward players that we've got, it almost makes the rest of it irrelevant. We've got so much quality, haven't we, in that front line, and so much quality on the bench in the front line that, it's almost like, and I'm sure that's not the mindset of the team, but it's almost like we can go 2-0 down, because we can score 4 or 5 goals every single game. That's what it feels like at the minute. Once we get our flow going, once we get our rhythm, we're almost unstoppable. And so much quality, like you said. I mean, Caitlin Ford in that second half was absolutely brilliant. She deserved her goal, and she just caused constant problems. But you're right, Beth Mead did the same. It was funny, wasn't it? Maybe that side of the pitch was, I don't know whether that was a bet, whether the grass over that side was better, because Beth Mead obviously was on the right in the first half, got a lot of the ball, caused a lot of problems, and then in the second half it was down the left-hand side with Caitlin Ford, which was the same side of the pitch. I don't know whether that was significant, but anyway, it worked pretty well, because the balance seemed to be right there, and in the end, of course, the quality just shone through, didn't it, in that final, especially in the second half. But the performance, I say, we do need to look at it, though, don't we? Because it's 2 games in a row now, and it's not just 2 games this season. There was lots of games last season where we started slowly. Now, for me, I think it's a preparation issue. Really, I do. For whatever reason it is, and I don't know whether because, maybe the manager, the coaching staff, the players even, maybe they know that we've got so much quality in the squad that we've got the opportunity to grow into games. But you're right, what you say, when we play against the better teams, you're not going to be able to keep doing what we're doing. It just doesn't work. Yes, okay, in the Champions League, last season we found ourselves a couple of goals behind and still came back and turned it around against good opposition. But you can't keep relying on that, because there's going to be games when it doesn't happen, when you don't score. That's when you need your clean sheets, isn't it? When you can't score, you maybe nick 1 goal, and it has to be enough to win your games. That's what Chelsea do constantly. And that's the one thing you could say so far this season. Everything else, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. But the one thing is, can this team still manage to grind out those 1-0 wins, which we mentioned before? And to do that, you need a clean sheet. Now, so far, we haven't had a clean sheet. We've conceded 2 goals, but the 2 goals we've conceded were both literally individual mistakes, weren't they? The penalty against London City Lionesses was just an individual mistake from Katie, and then obviously the goal against West Ham, as we know, was an individual mistake by the goalkeeper. So it's not like it's a structural problem with the team. It's not like there's issues with things like that. They're just individual errors which can happen. Hopefully they won't happen very often, but that's what's led to the 2 goals we've conceded. I'd be more concerned if we were conceding goals from, say, set pieces constantly, or we were conceding goals from, just for the fact that, we were, like we've said before, about transition and play and stuff like that. We're not. We're conceding goals just purely on individual mistakes, which is easy to work on maybe. So I'm not overly concerned about that, but obviously we'll talk about Sunday's game a little bit later. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when we do start playing the better teams, are we going to start these games stronger? Because you can't afford to be a goal down, 2-0 down every week, because it's not always going to work. And as much quality as we've got and as many goals as we can score, you just can't keep relying on it, because there will be games where it just doesn't work. It just doesn't happen for whatever reason. We've seen it so many times, haven't we? Frustrating games where we dominate, can't score, and end up losing 1-0 because we'll concede a daft goal. So, this is something that is, at the moment, I'm not overly concerned because we're getting the results, but it is something that we are going to have to improve. If we are going to win the league, which is what the aim is, we're going to have to improve that, aren't we? Because we can't keep coming back from a goal down every single week. Joe says, "Hi Richard, Lord, I'm watching Everton versus London City on TV. You on the iPad and Rugby World Cup semi-final on my phone. Christ, you're busy, aren't you?" That's multitasking there, isn't it? There you go. Look at that, brilliant. Colin Jones said, "My friend, good to see you." Wexford said, "Goalie is mustard. Trust me." Oh no, we've got no doubts about the goalie. Absolutely no doubts. Yes, goalkeepers will make a mistake here and there. Of course they do. Every goalkeeper does. And unfortunately, the nature of the job is you make a mistake as a goalkeeper, it ends up in the back of your net 9 times out of 10, doesn't it? So it's the way it is. But I've got no doubts about Daphne. We've been singing her praises for the past 2 or 3 years, so I've got no problem with her at all. It's just a one-off mistake, and she didn't have to do much else in the rest of the game. So it wasn't like she had a chance to redeem herself, because I don't think she had a shot to save, really, did she, the rest of the game? But that was how it went. I'm sure she'll prove her quality again in the future games. Greg says Ford was good, but she still needs to look around when she's not the only forward. Like she thinks, no, I agree with. Sometimes she gets her head down and she just, she goes into Gabriel Martinelli mode. Just gets her head down, runs, and then shoots when she should pass. But ultimately, she was brilliant in that second half in particular. So we're not going to complain too much. And she, as Andreas says, she causes defenders so many problems because she just keeps coming at you. Keeps coming. And for a defender, that's the last thing you want. And she has got quality as well. Obviously, she scored a great goal. She's got a record of doing that, so I'm not bothered about that. Wexford says Arsenal are building a quality squad. I'm sure that's what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Where are we? Hang on. Joe said there, the quality and depth of this team means there is no excuse for poor, slow start. Well, no, there isn't. I'm not saying there's an excuse for it, and I agree with you. But it's something we've got to put right. But ultimately, we've got so many great players that most teams, we are probably going to end up wearing them down and getting the goals like we have done. But anyway, Wexford says Arsenal building a top quality squad, mimicking the men's side. Let's get Bob Matty in next. Well, yeah, well, I mean, obviously you can't get too many quality players, can you? Vicky says, London City have just scored against Everton, have they? Well, they were 1-0 up against us, weren't they? And it didn't do them too much good, but we'll see. Colin says Caitlin Ford's disallowed goal could have cost us the game. It didn't, but the officials should be held to account. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned that at the time, didn't we, in the chat during the game? It was a terrible decision because it came off the defender, didn't it? And then she stuck it in. It would have put us 2-1 up at the time. In the end, it didn't matter, did it? Because Stina came on, and Stina does what Stina does, scored a great goal. And obviously, from that point on, I don't think the result was in doubt, was it? But no, you're right. I mean, the quality of the officiating is still not as high as the level of the football that's being played. And that is something I need to work on. I don't really want VAR, if I'm honest, because I've got a mess it's made in the Premier League, and I don't really want it in the WSL. And it's a balance, isn't it? Do we want to? Are we prepared to accept these type of mistakes? That yes, you're right. It could have cost us the game. It didn't in the end, and we won comfortably, so we're not bothered. But there will be games when decisions like that could be really important. Do we risk those mistakes, or do we say, you know what, let's just keep that rather than having VAR, which hasn't really added anything positive other than maybe certain decisions like that particular one they're getting right on review? Is that a price worth paying to what the negative side of it for me, which I'm not sure if it is. It's something that needs to be, obviously VAR will come into the WSL. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now all the games are getting played in, or most of the games are getting played in the bigger stadiums. They've got the technology there to use it and to put it in place. So they probably will. It's inevitable. But I don't know if that's the answer for me. I'd like to see maybe the referees and the linesmen on the pitch do better, be better, train them better so they don't make these basic mistakes that they're constantly making, it seems, week after week. But I don't know. I think technology will take over. I mean, Andreas, would you like to see VAR in the WSL, or would you like to keep it as it is and accept the mistakes that happen?
For the time being, I would like it is. What I would like to see in the WSL is the goal line technology. I think this would be easier to install in the stadiums. And I agree with you. The education of the referees should be better, and the quality level of the referees and the lines persons should be higher, and then I could accept a decent level of mistakes. But we often said this: the VAR in men's football, it kills emotions, and even in the Champions League for the women's, I remember sitting on the stands and in the knockout rounds, and then you score a goal and you are not sure, is it really a goal? Can I just jump up and celebrate, or no, it's the goal is checked. Oh. And then you wait 2-3 minutes, and even if the decision is like you want it, then you can't celebrate a goal after 3 minutes. So, and I know it will come. In 5 years or so, we will have VAR in the WSL. I think it's you can't prevent this from coming. But for the time being, I'd say goal line technology, yes, and better education for the referees, professional referees, and and hopefully a better quality level there. And then no VAR, but it will come. If we still make the show in 5 years, it will be normal, and we will say VAR has killed the emotions in women's football too.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunately what's going to happen, and it is a shame, isn't it? Because VAR seems to have been brought in initially because there were so many high-profile mistakes that were costing teams a lot of money because of the fact that relegation and promotion and stuff like that is worth a fortune, isn't it, in the men's game, and it was brought in, I think, for that reason. Also, it seems to be brought in. You're absolutely right. When you're in the stadium, it's horrible. It's brought in for the TV audience, isn't it? That's what it's been brought in for. And it kind of, I suppose, from a TV perspective, it sort of works. But sport's not a TV show. Sport is a live event that you're at. It's almost like you're going to a music concert, and they start playing a song, and I have to wait. I don't know if we can play this song yet. You've got to wait. Oh, okay, we can play this song. You know what I mean? It would ruin the whole experience, and that's what VAR is doing to football as a live experience, and it's ruining it, and it's ruining it for the people that make football what it is, which is the fans in the stadium. And I'm sure enough players have come out and said how much they dislike VAR, and ex-professional players, and everybody doesn't seem to like it. So it's not really in the best interest of the sport in general. It just seems to be in the best interest of money, and in the and the TV, which again is about money, because TV paid money for the games, don't they? So it's I don't want it. I would prefer a decision like we saw the goal disallowed on Friday. I would prefer to see more of those mistakes than have VAR in the game. Personally, I think I would, because I don't like it. But you're absolutely right. It will come in. There's no doubt. It will. I don't even think it will take 5 years. I don't think it will be that long. I think 2 years, I think it will be in. I think it will, unfortunately, I just see that's where it's going, which is such a shame. Like you said, it's already in the Champions League. It's just the next step is it's going to be in the WSL. It's just, will it be next season? Will it be the season after? Will be what I'm thinking. So the more of these big stadiums now, the Premier League stadium that's being used in the WSL, it's inevitable that's going to be the next step, isn't it? And I don't think it's going to be as much fun. Absolutely not. Greg says, let's hope we're not mimicking the men's side as we want to win trophies. Well, we're not mimicking them because we've already won. We've won the Champions League for a start off, and we've also won 2 cups in the last 2 seasons as well. So clearly, we're not mimicking the men's team. They need to mimic us. That's what they need to do. They need to copy what we're doing. That would be the ideal, wouldn't it? Joe says, no VAR. It's been a miserable experience for everyone. Yeah, the only people it hasn't been a miserable experience for is the TV companies, I would say. Is the only people that's maybe benefited from VAR. But yeah, you're right. It is horrible. Vicky agrees with Andreas. Say goal line technology first. Yeah, that's obviously the next step as well. But it'll all come in probably in the next 2 years. Josie, if you recall, the lineswoman is a teacher. So she was in a stressful, tiring job and then ran a line. That's a problem. We need full-time officials. Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. I agree with you. And of course, we know all this about the lineswoman last week who did make that mistake because one of our viewers actually works with her and was talking about it during the game. So we got to know a little bit more about her personally as well, which is a good thing. But that's a good point, isn't it? If they've got a job, whatever their job is, whether it's a teacher, whatever the job is, if you're working a full-time job, and then you've got to go on an evening and be an official in the top level of women's professional football, are you in the right physical and mental frame of mind to go on and perform at your best? Probably not. And that's not any fault of anybody in particular. That's just because that's human nature, isn't it? If you're tired, you're stressed, like you said, from your job, whatever your job is, you probably won't perform at your best, will you, in those situations always? So yeah, full time would be a good step forward, wouldn't it? Although having said that, they made the Premier League refs full time, and it didn't really improve the standard, did it? They've got worse, if anything. But anyway, we can only look at it and say, well, what would improve it? That would obviously improve it. I agree. They should be full time. It's ridiculous that they've got other jobs, really, when you think about it. The players now are full time professionals, so surely they deserve full time professional officials to take charge of the game. They deserve that, don't they, as a minimum? TV's now paying all this money to screen the games, and we're getting teachers running the line, or we're getting, I don't know, an accountant as a referee or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's just not really good enough, is it? Let's be honest. That's all right for non-league football. Brilliant. Not for top-level professional football, where they are now full-time. They're all full-time teams. It's just not good enough. You're absolutely right, and that is something that needs to be looked at. 170 Gunner says, "Big up, going to reach and legend, Andreas. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you in the show again." Greg says, "Let's start with better refs and last bit." Well, yeah, let's, and maybe professional is the answer, isn't it? Or the next step forward to improve standards, because that's what needs to happen. And you can bring VAR and all you like, but if the standards don't improve, as we've seen in the Premier League, the VAR is not going to make it better, is it? In fact, the VAR is going to make it worse, because they're checking these things and still getting it wrong because the referees that are doing it aren't good enough. So, yeah, definitely we need better referees. John says VAR is used wrong, and that's why it's so bad. Refs don't make decisions or make decisions that require VAR to look at the incident because refs don't want to take responsibility. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I think sometimes what happens is there could be, say, a foul in the penalty area, and the rest thinking, well, the VAR will look at it closer than I can. I'm not gonna make that decision, because if I get it wrong, I'm going to look an idiot, and people are going to say what a terrible referee I am. And I think you're right. I think they are relying on VAR, and I don't think VAR. What VAR was supposed to do was if it was a clear and obvious mistake. And it's not doing that. It's re-reffing the game, isn't it? It's re-reffing it. And if a referee's missed something, or maybe a referee's given a foul or not given a foul, and they say, oh, no, it was a foul, that's re-reffing the game. If the referee's made a big mistake, that's clearly a terrible mistake, like that goal on Friday, for example, that's obviously a mistake. It came off the defender. It should have been a goal. Then that's what VAR should be used for, those sort of decisions, not just because, I don't know, maybe the referee's not given a foul or did give a foul and then they're re-reffing it again. I don't think that's the way it should be. The referee on the pitch should, 99% of the decisions should be down to the referee on the pitch, and VAR should just check the ones that they may have, the big decision that they may have got wrong, and it's an obvious mistake, and that's what it should be for. And it's not used for that anymore, is it? It's just not good at all. Andy's with us. How you doing? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. John says 1 million player now and no progress. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the point, isn't it? All this money now floating around in football, and we've still got part-time officials. It is crazy, isn't it? Let's be honest, it is crazy. Wexford said, who do you think are the best financially backed teams in Europe? Well, I think we're one of them at the minute. You could say, couldn't you? The squad that we've put together. I mean, Barcelona seem to be pretty well what they were, weren't they? I don't know about so much now. They haven't excelled players, but they were. I don't know really. I mean, I still think there's going to be more money coming into the English game. I mean, Andreas, who would you say is the best financially backed teams in Europe at the moment? Lyon probably won't be one of them, won't they?
Yeah, probably Olympique Lyon with Michel Kang financing everything there. Then of course Chelsea, who made this financial tricks by selling the women's team to their own company, and so they have a lot of money. And but Barcelona, no, they have a lot of problems because of the
men's. No, they do.
The men's team has the problems, and the women's team suffers due to these problems. And they had to sell a lot of players and could only sign one player for the new season. So I don't know about Paris Saint-Germain. Normally they have enough money from the sheikhs, but they lose all their best players to Lyon. It's difficult to say, and at the moment, the most money coming into the game is in the WSL due new sponsoring deals, etc. But all the big teams are suffering, and it's still difficult for the women's side to make profit, and you normally need a men's team who earns the money and feeds the women's team. So that's why LCL says we are the first only women's team in a top flight. But they are not profitable. They get the money from Kang. It's a difficult situation. And
yeah, it is. And I mean, you know, we've just paid £1 million for a player for the first time ever. So, you know, we've been pretty well backed, haven't we? I suppose as well. But yeah, I mean, what London City Lionesses are doing in a way is a different, like you said, a different way of doing it, because most of their clubs are attached to the men's team in some way financially. They've got some sort of tie-in, and London City Lionesses don't, and it's an interesting concept, I suppose, and maybe that might be the way it goes in the future. Is it necessarily a good thing for women's football in general? I'm not sure, but anyway, let's wait and see how that works out for them. I mean, you know, they've had a tough start to the season, but they're still in the early stages, I suppose, of their process, maybe. But anyway, let's see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately the women's game is going to go the same way as the men's game eventually, isn't it? With the money and the wages that players will get and everything else that's going to go along with it, unfortunately. And I think we're going to lose a lot of what's made women's football so great over the last few years. If we're going to lose a lot of that in future, we know we are, and it's just, you know, it's just waiting for it to happen, I suppose. John says moving the women into the Emirates is no doubt targeting bigger returns on the women's side. Oh, absolutely, of course it is. Yeah, bigger crowds. You know, obviously they can make more money from the games. Of course, that's. And I say it's not just Arsenal, is it? Other teams are playing more of their games now in the bigger stadiums and stuff like that. So it's good because it means more people can watch the games live, and that's a great thing. But what it is going to mean is it's going to lose that personal touch, I think, that has always been so important in women's football. But you know, we want it to grow, and it is growing, and it's going to continue, and it is going to grow out of control eventually. We know it will, and it'll be a shame. But anyway, that's the way it is. So West Ham went pretty well, didn't it? 2 wins out of 2, 9 goals scored. Lots of different goal scorers as well over the game. We've got a lot of players that are getting on the score sheet, and yeah, if we can just cut out those individual defensive mistakes, we're gonna have no problem at all. We and starting games a bit quicker off the blocks. You know, come out there right from the first whistle rather than taking our time to get going. It seems like we can see the goal to wake us up, and then suddenly we're fine again. That happened the last 2 games, and I say last season as well. It happened quite a lot, didn't it? So that's something we need to put right. I'm sure we will. Anyway, talking of money and how much money is in women's football, today, of course, was the Champions League draw. And that just kind of showed, didn't it, what's happening in women's football and where it's going. So, of course, the only thing that really matters about the Champions League is that it's our trophy and we won it. So that's the most important thing about this season's Champions League. Whatever happens between now and the end of the season, we will be the holders of that trophy until the final next season, or I suppose until we get knocked out. But even then, we're still the holders until someone else wins it. So that's the most important thing. Now, of course, there was a draw today. The fixtures are out, or the order of the fixtures comes out tomorrow, I think it is. But the teams have been drawn in who we play. Now, personally, I'm actually quite underwhelmed by it, if I'm honest. We've got 3 of the teams that we played last season, which is Lyon, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, who we played in last season's competition. We played Bayern Munich a couple of times in recent years now. We've played Lyon a couple of times in recent years. It seems to be the same teams coming up. It's nice to be playing some different teams, isn't it? Not that there's many different teams left, I suppose. But anyway, so that's that. And of course, we've also got to play FC Twente, which is a nice different team to play, maybe. Leuven of Belgium, and of course Benfica as well. So there are some interesting games in there as well. But we've got some games that we've only just played last season, the same fixtures again, and it just seems like a shame that we're doing that. And of course, I don't like this one big group like they've done in the Men's Champions League. I don't really like that. You're not playing everybody. They're selecting which teams you play. It seems unfair. It seems unbalanced. The only way it's really fair is if everybody plays everybody home and away and make it like a league, or you do it like it was before and have groups where you play everyone in your group home and away. It just seems really uneven that, so for example, we're playing Lyon at home and we don't play Lyon away. We don't play them away, we just play them at home. And then we're playing Benfica away and we don't play them at home. And then we're not playing after teams. We're not playing Juventus, we're not playing Wolfsburg, we're not playing PSG. After teams that most of the teams we're not playing. And yet we might well qualify without playing half. And it's the same what happened with the Men's Champions League now. I don't know, I can't get my head around how it's not a league, because if it's a league, you play everyone home and away. If you're only playing a selected number of teams and you're only playing them at home or away, it's not. I don't know. I can't understand it in my head how that makes any sense. And how you get the best teams from the group qualifying? No, you don't. You maybe get teams that have better fixtures. They're the teams that maybe go through. If you get picked to play, I mean, we've got some games that I would expect with those games that we've got, we should do enough to qualify, I would imagine. But I don't know. Does that mean we're the best team or one of the best teams in the league? We never know, because we don't play up. We're only playing a very small number of teams in the competition. It just seems a crazy way to decide it. I don't like it personally, but anyway, we're in it. We're the holders, and we've got to play. We've got 6 good games to play, I suppose, and it's nice. They're going to be great games. They're going to be good crowds at the Emirates, I'm sure, for those ones. We've got some decent trips. I'm sure Andreas, you'll be pleased with Bayern Munich away again. A nice game for you to go to again, I suppose. But I mean, what do you make of the competition now they've changed it, first of all? Because I think that's the most important point, really. Whoever we're playing, it's the format of the competition that's the problem for me.
And when they changed the format for the men, I first thought it's crazy and I don't understand the rules, etc. But I have to say that last season, the Champions League for the men was a really exciting season. And for me, I thought the format with the league phase was more interesting or more exciting than with the group stage. And therefore, give it a chance for the women. I agree with you. It would be the best to play every team home and away. But you can't bring so many games in the calendar. It's already too many games for all the teams with the Nations League and World Cup qualifiers for the national team. So it would be too much to play a league of 16 teams. You have 15 at home, 15 away. There's no place in the calendar to play so many games. So we have to take it as it is, and I have to look at our opponents. 3 of them are the same as last season. 3 are new. The Arsenal homepage says our league phase games are at Meadow Park, so not at the Emirates. I don't know whether they will change it for the Lyon home game, maybe, but so far it's mentioned at Meadow Park. And it's you can discuss it. For the league games last season, the group games at the Emirates midweek, there were between 5,000 and 10,000 attendance. The Emirates is empty, and Meadow Park with 4,000 or 4,500. Fantastic atmosphere. We saw it in December when we played Bayern Munich at home. I don't think we would have beaten them at the Emirates with 5,000 or 8,000 attendance. But the atmosphere at Meadow Park was fantastic. Let's see. And we're playing Lyon and Real Madrid and Twente at home. If you say it's boring because it's the same teams, Bayern Munich has the 3 home games against Arsenal, Juventus, and Vålerenga the same as last year. So if you go to Munich for the home games, you can say, oh, it's just 6 or 8 months ago we played against them. Yeah, but this is also a concentration of the best teams in women's football. And if you have a Champions League phase or so, it will concentrate on the best teams. It's the same in the men's competition. There are always the games, Bayern against Barcelona or Real Madrid against Man City or so, and it's repeating year after year. So this is now for the women's game too. But anyway, it's an interesting draw, and I think there are at least 3 or 4 teams we should beat, and we should go for 14 points. If you make 14 points out of the 6 games, there's a good chance we finish among the top 4, and the top 4 go through automatically, and then the 5th to 12th they play playoffs for the rest 4 teams that qualify for the quarterfinals. So it would be good to avoid these extra playoffs in February or when it's played, and finish among the top 4. But this means we should beat Benfica, Twente, Leuven, and Real Madrid at home, and maybe get a draw in Munich. And against Lyon, let's see. It depends. Lyon is a very, very strong side this season. I think maybe it would be good to play them very early. But waiting for tomorrow when the fixtures are out, and then we'll know more. And of course, then the run for tickets will start, because it won't be easy to get tickets at Meadow Park with 80,000 season ticket holders and only 4,500 capacity at Meadow Park. But I will try to get my tickets and I hope that I can see all the 3 games plus the away game in Munich.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, realistically, we've looking at the fixtures, we should get enough points to qualify through. I'm pretty sure we will. Obviously, last season, though, Lyon at home we lost, Bayern away we lost, so we need some improvement in those 2. I know we beat Lyon overall because we won the away game so brilliantly, and of course we beat Bayern at home as well. So, but yeah, I would have thought we should beat Real Madrid and Twente at home. I agree. I don't see too many issues there. Benfica and Leuven away, yes, you'd expect we should beat them as well. So that's 12 points straight off the bat there, isn't it? So if we can win one of the other 2, we've pretty much done it, haven't we? Lyon at home will be a tough game, but you know, if that is played at Meadow Park, obviously Lyon won at the Emirates last season. How will they get on at the smaller pitch in Meadow Park? Could be an advantage to us in that game again. Who knows? And obviously Bayern Munich, we know what happened there last season, and we know what happened sort of soon after that game as well in terms of the managerial situation. So there's maybe a little bit of something that a point to prove in that particular game. I think whenever we play that game, when it falls in the fixtures, I think there'll be a few players that'll have a point to prove after what happened there last season. So I'm not disappointed with the draw that we've been given overall. I think it's a decent draw, and it's a good draw in terms of us. Oh, and where's Andreas gone? It's a good draw in terms of us progressing or potentially progressing. I think we've got a great chance to go through. We're playing 3 of the games we played last season. I'm like, is that really what we want? I don't know. But anyway, it is what it is. Just in the other 2 English teams, of course, to be in the draw, Man United and Chelsea, of course. Chelsea played Barcelona at home. So I think that's going to be interesting, Chelsea against Barcelona. And they've got 2 other fairly easy home games, Paris FC and Roma. You expect they'll win both of them. And they've got to go to Wolfsburg away. It'd be tough. St. Polten, they'll probably win. And they play Twente away as well, which you'd expect they'll win. So you'd imagine Chelsea are going to be there or thereabouts in terms of getting through. And Man United, they play Lyon at home as well. So that's going to be interesting. They've got PSG at home and Vålerenga at home, of course, who we played last season. And then they go away to Wolfsburg as well. So Wolfsburg got 2 English teams at home in their little group stage. So that's interesting. They play Juventus, Man United away, and Atletico Madrid. So they've maybe got, I don't know, I think Man United maybe got a slightly tougher set of fixtures out of the 3 English teams, but then they were technically the weakest of the 3 English teams to qualify anyway. But I mean, what do you make of the draw for Chelsea and Man United then, Andreas? Do you think they both? I mean, Chelsea look as though they should be able to get through that, shouldn't they?
Yeah, Chelsea as always has to play Barcelona.
Yeah.
But apart from this, their draw seems to be the easiest from the 3 English teams. And I expect Chelsea to qualify. And Man United, I think, has a really tough draw. It's the first time they play Champions League, and it's different for United. They are not used to play such competitive games midweek. The last years they played the League Cup midweek, and it's different. You have teams from the second tier, from the Championship, or you play Lyon or Wolfsburg. So that's different. So we'll see how they fit into this competition. I think for Man United it would be good to reach the playoffs. Chelsea, I think Barcelona, Lyon, and Chelsea are 3 or 4 teams that will go through directly, and hopefully we are the 4th who qualify directly. But Chelsea, as always, they had a good draw, or maybe not the toughest draw, and it happens so often. That's the luck of champions.
It could be the luck of champions, or it could be bribery. Who knows? But anyway, they've got the best draw. I mean, I'm not disappointed with our draw in that sense. I think we can get through the top 4 definitely. Yeah, Man United probably have got the toughest draw out of the 3 English teams, and I think they probably will get into the playoffs. I think they're good enough to finish in the top 10 or 12, whatever it is. So I'm pretty sure they'll do that. But I think they'll find that quite tough going actually. Man United, they've got some tough away games as well, which isn't going to help. But I mean, it'd be nice if all 3 English teams got through. It would be nice, and it is possible. I say maybe Man United might need to go through the playoffs to qualify, but let's hope they do. I mean, we'd laugh if Chelsea got knocked out. Of course we would. It'd be funny, but realistically, it'd be nice to have all 3 English teams through, wouldn't it, to the quarterfinals? I think that's good for the WSL and
important for the UEFA ranking.
Exactly.
To win. You have to win games to gain points and to have these points in the ranking. And currently, England is on 3rd position. I think it's France, Spain, and England on 3rd. It's because we won the Champions League. Chelsea was in the semi-finals, and now we have 3 teams in the league phase. So Germany has fallen down to 4th, and they have only 2 teams in the league phase because Frankfurt lost against Real Madrid. So the chance to stay among the top 3 is really high, and this is important for the next years. As far as I know, the first 3 in the UEFA ranking, they have 2 teams automatically qualified for the league phase. This season it was because we are the title holders, but otherwise we would have gone to this qualification round in which, for example, United played against Brandenburg. So, and to have 2 places secured for the league phase is very important. So we need points, and therefore I'd say, we should qualify directly for the quarterfinals. But if we get all 3 teams through, that would be good for the UEFA ranking.
It would, and of course, from our point of view, the last few seasons we've had to go through the qualifiers because we've come 2nd or 3rd in the WSL. But of course, what's going to happen now is, due to our brilliance in the Champions League, winning it, and probably our brilliance of doing really well again this coming season and reaching the semi-final a couple of years before, it's going to inevitably mean that in future, 1st and 2nd will automatically qualify, which is going to benefit Chelsea when we finish 1st and they finish 2nd. So it's not really going to benefit us because we're going to qualify automatically anyway by winning the league, and it's going to benefit other teams by our success, which seems a little bit unfair. But anyway, we've had to suffer because Chelsea was so terrible in the Champions League for so long when they were winning our league. we've had to suffer having to go through the qualifiers, and in future we're going to help Chelsea and maybe Man United or Man City easier get through. And I don't think that's really fair. But anyway, as long as we're through and as long as we do our job, that's all that matters. But it just don't seem to be fair, really. And he says, yeah, they want more revenue, but also much bigger fan base. I love going to the Emirates to watch our women's team. Yeah, it's a fantastic experience. There's no doubt. Greg says other teams are playing more in bigger stadiums unless they play us. They don't want their stadiums full of Arsenal supporters, and their home games feel like away games. Yeah, that's true, actually. Although, to be fair, Man United don't tend to play at Old Trafford very often, do they? Lee Sports Village is their women's team's home, so I'm not surprised that game's there on the weekend. But anyway, John says, I like the format of the Men's Champions League, much more interesting in the old way. See, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right in the sense that last season, certainly in the Men's Champions League, it did. The games, a lot of the games seem more exciting, and maybe that's because in a league phase, quite often you win your first couple of games and you're through. Whereas when it's that so many games, you can lose a game and you could drop down 6 places, 7, 8 places, couldn't you? And suddenly you're out of the qualifying place. And I think in that sense, it made it a bit more interesting. I'm not sure I prefer it though. I kind of like to know where I am. You've got a league phase, you're playing home and away. Everything's kind of set where you are. You know what you're doing, and I kind of. Personally, I just prefer that. But yeah, you're probably right. It probably was more exciting on the back of that format. And maybe this women's one will be exciting as well, because you don't tend to get so many dead rubber games at the end of a group like you did previously. And maybe that's one advantage of it, I suppose. But I don't know. Maybe it'll take me a couple of years to get my head around it and start to realise how much better it is. But yeah, I think in terms of excitement, it probably was better for the men last season, if I'm honest. There were probably more exciting games in that league phase than in the previous group stages before. Probably was. So you may be right, actually. LG says the league phase is more balanced than a group stage because every team plays teams in each pot, unlike before when the top teams were protected in the group stages. Pot 1 teams didn't play. Yeah, no, you're right. That's another good point, actually. Maybe I've looked at it in the wrong way. I don't know. It just seems a bit lopsided when you're only playing certain teams, and it's luck of the draw in some ways, who you get to play and who you don't, who you're at home against, who you're away against. All these little decisions are important, aren't they? You know, because your home games are a massive advantage in Europe in particular, and who you get to play at home isn't based on anything other than luck of the draw. So I don't know. I think there's positives and negatives to it. Maybe there are more positives overall, and I've maybe focused on the couple of negatives that's been bugging me since they changed it last season for the men. But yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to give it a chance. I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to watching our games anyway, regardless of who we're playing. I'm looking forward to seeing our games and hoping, obviously, that we can do really well. But yeah, maybe I've been a bit negative with it. Greg says we can't rely on the second legs this time. We've got to get it right first. Oh, yeah, that's true. But then that's like the group stage, isn't it? Yeah, you get a home and away game, but yeah, you're right. We don't get a second bite at it. We have to get the points when we play the teams because we don't get the second away game or whatever. So yeah, you're right. Agzibay says good evening from Sweden. No Swedish teams in Champions League this year. Hacken lost against Atletico Madrid. Yeah, I mean the Swedish league isn't, you know, no disrespect to the Swedish league, but it's not as strong as it as some of the other leagues in Europe, I suppose. And you know that's the way it is. But anyway, you just have to get behind all the Arsenal players. The Arsenal just got the Swedish players in the team, won't you? So there you go. That's all right. Joe says there was 21,000 at the Emirates for the Real Madrid game, and it was electric. Yeah, well, obviously last season the Real Madrid game was something quite special, wasn't it? With that coming back from 2-0 down and stuff like that, it was incredible. But yeah, you're right, and I think the big games will get the crowds. But the league phase games last season at the Emirates, there wasn't big crowds, was there at all? In the season before was the same. No, it wasn't in it. So the season before that, it was. But anyway, if they're at Meadow Park, it's just going to be harder to get tickets, even though the atmosphere will be great, I'm sure, for all those games if they are at Meadow Park. But there you go. We shall see. So LG says a big advantage of the league phase is the oversaturation of the big games, meaning they won't feel as special as before. Oh, the big disadvantage. Yeah, I mean, in a way, that might be true, but then they're the games that everybody wants to watch, aren't they? I mean, no disrespect to, say, for example, teams like Brighton in the WSL or Leicester. I would rather see Arsenal play Chelsea and Man United every week than play Brighton and Leicester. So I kind of like playing more of those type of games because they're more exciting, aren't they? And there's more jeopardy. You know, if you're playing a game that could go either way, if we're playing Chelsea, you don't know who's going to win, do you? And there's jeopardy. As if we're playing, say, Brighton or Leicester, you would expect us to win before you start. So I don't know. I kind of like the bigger games when you're not sure who could win. It could go either way, and that's more exciting, I think, than when the big teams play the smaller teams and you know the result before you even start. It's just how many goals they're going to win by. Do you know what I mean? So I do kind of like that. I think there should be more big games. I like that, actually. It's what we want to see, isn't it? We want to see more of those games. That's one of the reasons why they've probably done it, because the TV audience is going to be bigger. If Barcelona in the men's, if Barcelona are playing Real Madrid in the group stage and Barcelona are playing Real Madrid in the knockouts, they're going to get bigger views than if Barcelona are playing FC Twente and winning 5-6-7-0. So, you know, that's probably one of the reasons behind it as well. But I kind of like that, though, anyway. Greg says, why only a draw against Munich? We should beat them. Well, yeah, after last season, though, when we got absolutely hammered, didn't we? So I think a draw would be a good result, wouldn't it, in the circumstances? John says, I'm wondering if it's only Meadow Park until the fixtures are out. Then the club will see it if they can play in a game. Yeah, maybe. Obviously, the dates of the game could matter as well, because obviously the men's have got their Champions League games as well, Premier League games and stuff. So, yeah, that might well be a factor. You might be right. But let's wait and see what happens tomorrow when the fixtures come out. John says, was it Real Madrid that had the awful pitch last time? It was. But we've got them at home this time. We don't have to worry about that. But that's another point, actually, because Meadow Park, I know, obviously, when the pitch had a problem at Meadow Park last season, it was in the second half of the season after the winter weather and stuff like that, whereas obviously the group stage going to before Christmas shouldn't really be too much of a problem. But obviously the surface at the Emirates is 100 times better than it is at Meadow Park. And that's obviously an advantage for footballing teams. But I don't know. If they're at Meadow Park, they're at Meadow Park. But you're right, maybe when the fixtures come out, they might have a rethink. I don't know. But anyway, they don't usually, do they? Ag says, have they changed the Champions League system this year? Yeah, they have, yeah. It's like the men's Champions League. So it's one big group of teams and you play 6 out of those teams, 3 at home and 3 away. That was what the draw was today. And then the top 4 go through automatically. The next 6 teams play off or something, and then 4 of those will go through to the quarterfinals as well. So yeah, it's a bit like the men's Champions League. They've sort of changed it this year. LG says Wolfsburg has the toughest fixtures of all the teams. 5-6 games. They have Lyon, PSG, Real Madrid, Chelsea, and Man United. Actually, yeah, that is quite a tough draw for Wolfsburg. But we don't care, do we? Because we don't like Wolfsburg, so we don't care how tough their games are. They might lose them all. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Shame we're not playing them as well. Joe says, what would happen if in the future London City Lionesses qualify our Champions League as Lyon? So is that, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are about that, actually, because you're not meant to have control in 2 different clubs in the same competition, are you? Due to vested interests and stuff like that. I don't know what would happen, actually. That would be for UEFA to figure out, wouldn't it? What they'd want to do about it, I suppose. But no doubt it will cause some problems. But where there's money, there's, you know, you get your result that you want, don't you? Ag says, which teams for Arsenal? So Arsenal have got to play at home Lyon, Real Madrid and FC Twente from Holland. And away we've got to play Bayern Munich, Benfica and Leveren from Belgium. So that's Arsenal's fixtures, which are quite nice fixtures, let's be honest, even though we did play half of them last season. Greg says, I'd rather see Chelsea and United go out than the rankings. Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. But only... I would agree with you as long as we win the league. If we come second or third, I want better rankings so we haven't got to go through the nonsense of qualifying. So, yeah. John says, glad we don't have to play away to Real Madrid. Yeah, after last season, yeah, obviously. Although if we play them this part of the year, it might not be too bad because I'm sure the pitch won't be as waterlogged in September, October, November than it is when it was in February whenever we played them. But, yeah. 110 Volt says there, why did we have 3 keepers on the bench last game? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's because Chloe Kelly maybe wasn't fit, so there was a space on the bench, so they maybe shoved another keeper on. I don't know. I'm not sure, actually, because we're never going to use 2 keepers, let alone 3. Veroni says there, when the game's going to be played. We don't know yet till tomorrow. The fixtures come out tomorrow. So we'll know then when the games are and what order they're being played in and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that'll be. We can talk about that maybe with a game on Sunday. We'll have it by then, and we can maybe discuss it at half time or something. Vicky P says, where was Jenna? Well, that's a question for all season, isn't it? I think that's going to be a question we'll be asking all through the season. Where's Jenna? It'd be like, where's Wally? Won't it? It'd be where's Jenna instead, because she never seems to be anywhere much when it comes to the game. Ag says, great group. Well, it's one big group, but they're great fixtures for us. Yeah, no, they are. I agree. It's going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it, and obviously, as I said before, we're the holders, and every single game we play in the Champions League it's going to be mentioned a million times. We are the holders of the Champions League, and it's going to be great. And we've got these 6 games to enjoy, and hopefully a few more to come next year as well when we get through this group. But yeah, maybe it will be more exciting than I'm anticipating overall, I suppose, you know. And obviously, when you're battling for that place in that top 4 to qualify automatically, that could be quite exciting, couldn't it, towards the end of the fixture, especially if we're playing maybe Lyon as one of our last games in the group, could decide between us and Lyon who goes through and who has to qualify, kind of thing. So, yeah, I think there could be some excitement to come. But anyway, let's see what the fixtures bring us tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, you're excited about it, Andreas. Obviously, you know, we're the holders, and I'm not sure we can win it 2 years running, but who knows? But I'm excited for the competition.
Exactly. The Champions League is the top competition in Europe, and as all the players want to play Champions League, they want to play international. For us as supporters, it's also the biggest competition, and it's the WSL is daily business. We talked about it, or the FA Cup is something special with the final at Wembley, but Champions League is so special. And when we all remember our journey last year from the mini tournament against Rangers and Rosenborg, and then to the final in Lisbon, what a journey this was. And can't wait for the Champions League again. And games against Lyon, Bayern, Real, exciting. And of course, I'm looking forward to every game and to the next WSL game. But tomorrow I'm going to Munich for their home game against Jena, and I will check my mobile device in the train. Are the fixtures out? And I want to know when we play which team. And it's Champions League. It's something special. So yeah.
It is. No, it is. And of course, it's the fact this is the first time they've done it like this, and obviously we're the holders and we're in there and all that kind of stuff, makes it even more exciting, I suppose, isn't it? Because it's whenever anything starts, a new phase starts in the development of the game, it's nice that we're at the forefront of it, because we always have been. So that's kind of nice as well, isn't it? LG says, what are your thoughts on Ian Wright's concerns about Jenna Nice-Wonga not making it to the matchday squad so far? Well, yeah, I mean, it's a concern for all of us, really, isn't it? You know, she was our only signing in January, and she's probably played, 2 or 3 games? I'm not even sure she's played that many. I'm not sure what's happened with that. I'm not sure. Was it Rene's choice to bring her in? You've got to question if it was, because she's just not selecting her at all. Last season, she was on the bench a lot, hardly got on. This season, she's not even been on the bench any game so far. Yes, we've got a long season, a lot of games. We've got these 6 Champions League games. We've got the Continental Cup, well, not the Continental Cup, the Subway Cup coming up, obviously, in the new year, and the FA Cup. We've got a lot of games, but do you know what's going on with Jenna? Can you work that one out, Andreas? Because it's like, why would you bring a player in and never use them?
Yeah, that's a strange situation. Even if she was playing, she did not play as left back. She was signed as a backup for Katie as left back. And when she was playing, she was in midfield or on the left wing. In preseason, she played in midfield. And now being left out of the squad and have 2 goalkeepers on the bench, that's strange. And apparently there was no injury, as Rene said on the press conference before the West Ham game. Everybody's available except Leah Williamson. So what is Jenna doing in training? Is she doing something wrong, or not training with the intensity Rene wants? But anyway, I'd say even if she's not good in training, I would set her on the bench. Why have 2 goalkeepers on the bench? The possibility or the chance that you need 3 goalkeepers in a game is below 1%, and then have an additional defender who can play in midfield on the bench just as an option. So I don't know what's going on. Is she really a Rene player, or is she fallen out of fortune? The next weeks will bring clarity in this, and if she's not in the squad for another 2-3 games, I think she'll go in January, just like Laura Wienreuter was going out last winter. But so far, I think, yeah, of course, we signed Taylor Hines as backup for Katie now. So where is a place for Jenna to play? But on the other hand, she's a regular US international. She can't be so bad. It's a strange situation, and we have to look at this. Of course, we are only at match day 3 now, so let's see how things develop. But at the moment, it's something strange, and I think nobody has a real explanation for it.
Yeah, it's baffling, isn't it? When really, it is baffling. It makes me believe more and more that she wasn't Rene signing in the first place back in January, as though the club maybe managed to bring her in, and it wasn't Rene's choice. And I think it's obvious because she's just not played her. Like you said, you stick an extra goalkeeper on the bench. You could have stuck her on the bench because you probably ain't going to use your goalkeeper. You probably wouldn't use her, but stick her on the bench anyway. And she didn't. There's obviously reasons. Something's going on behind the scenes. I expect what it is, I don't know. But anyway, it needs to be, something needs to be resolved for her as a player as well, because she can't just waste her time not playing, not even being on the bench, because it's going to affect her career anyway. She won't want that. And you're right, she'll end up going in January, you expect anyway. But yeah, we buy, I mean, what must she think when we buy another left back in the summer, Taylor Hines, when she was brought in for that job, and now someone else is coming ahead of her. Obviously, Taylor Hines is getting on the pitch and doing quite well anyway, but she's actually getting minutes on the pitch, and Jenna's not even getting on the bench. So obviously something's gone on there. And I think at some point, surely someone's got to ask Rene about it. What's going on with Jenna? Why is she not in the squad ever? Because it seems a strange thing to be happening. But anyway, Joe says, Man City tonking Spurs 3-0 at half-time. Oh, that's a shame. Greg says, Andreas, I've got that scarf here. I'll give it to you at the Villa game. Oh, there you go. So Greg's got you that scarf, which is nice. He says, I genuinely believe Jenna won't get picked because of a lack of physicality and defensively off the ball duties. Those are the same reasons why KCC and Kafaji were exiled from the squad. Yeah, maybe. I mean, KCC's in the squad on the bench. She's not getting on the pitch. But yeah, maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I mean, obviously, Rene's got her own way of wanting to play and stuff like that, and maybe they don't fit in with it. But it seems strange that Jenna was signed while Rene was the manager. Well, actually, no. Was she the manager at that point when we signed Jenna, or was she still interim? Yeah. I can't remember now. Was she actually the manager then?
No, she was interim manager. But I think discussions were already, on negotiations about her contract were already ongoing. But we kept it late. I think Rene was signed as head coach end of January, and this was a few days or a week before Jenna was signed during the January window. But I can't imagine that we are negotiating with Rene about the manager job and keep her out of any thoughts of bringing in a new player. She was surely involved, but yeah, maybe she expected more from Jenna and thought in March or April, that's not what I expected from her. We have to buy another left back.
So why didn't we sell her in the summer then? I don't know why we kept her then. It makes no sense. But anyway, I don't know. John says, if our top players are all fit on top of their game, then I think we can win it. I don't think they are right now, but they're getting there. Yeah, exactly. If everyone's fit on their game, we've got probably one of the best squads in Europe, by a shadow of a doubt. LG says, Jenna isn't technically a Rene signing. She got signed before Rene got appointed permanently. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I think it was more of a club signing than the manager's choice. Hines was Rene signed. No, yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. If it was before she was permanent, the club may have, well, we need to make a signing because it's January. So they made a signing, but maybe Rene didn't have much say in because she wasn't the permanent manager at that time. And then obviously we can see what's happened. So, we don't know, do we? I do think the question needs to be asked, because it doesn't make sense. And obviously, you know, us as fans are asking about it. We're talking about it, so it needs to be addressed. At least that way, just tell us, where they can, you know, come out and say, you know, it hasn't gone as we planned, it hasn't worked out as we planned, or whatever it is, or she's going to get a chance later in the season, whatever it is. Just tell us something, and don't just like not pick her and then not even mention it. It's like, well, you know, I reckon there'll be loads of fans there that even forgotten that we signed her because she's made so few appearances. You know, but anyway. Joe says, having 2 goalies on the bench and she doesn't make the squad must be awful for her. Well, I'm assuming that there would have been communication. She would have been told, and no doubt given the reasons for what they are. But yeah, it's a strange one, definitely. Joe's also having Kim play 2 times 96 minutes and don't give KCC even a few minutes. Like, yeah, I mean, we've mentioned that before, haven't we, about KCC? We're not really sure what's going on with her, actually. Yeah, again, is it just Rene? They're not doing the job Rene wants them to do. So they're not getting minutes on the pitch. That's all you've got to put it down to, because ultimately the manager's got to decide these things. And if the manager feels that's the right decision, then we're winning games. We just won the Champions League, so we can't question the manager. And the manager sees the players more than we do. She works them in training every single day. We only see them when they play on the pitch, so we can't really know what's going on behind the scenes. But yeah, it is what it is. LG says, you simply won't play for Rene without off the ball duties like pressing, intensity and physicality. We might see Kyra getting loaned out soon. Yeah, maybe. But at the end of the day, I mean, the players would be made aware of what is required to get a game. They'll know what they've got to do. And that's the way it is, isn't it? You've got to step up and work to get into the team if that's what it takes. But yeah, we don't really know what's going on, do we? So we don't know. John says, how did Jenna play in the pre-season match against Bristol City? Any good? Did we didn't play Bristol City in pre-season, did we? Didn't we play Spurs and West Ham? But I don't know how she played, because I didn't get to see the games, so I'm not sure. But obviously she couldn't have done very well, could she? Or she'd be on the bench and getting minutes. Ag says, Kyra, welcome back to Harvard. Well, maybe that's where she'll end up. Who knows? Yeah, a little bit strange, all of that. We don't know what's going on, do we? But I'm not going to question Rene too much, because she hasn't done too bad, has she? It was wasn't it the 100th goal that we scored under her against West Ham? I think Stina's goal was 100th that we scored under Rene, and in less than a year, that's not bad going, is it? So we're not going to question her too much. But yeah, it'd be just nice to know, wouldn't it, what's going on, what the thought process is, and where are these players that, you know, we're not seeing much of. So the Champions League is going to, it's going to be good, isn't it? Anyway, we've got 6 great games to look forward to, and we've got a great chance with those 6 games of making it through to the quarterfinals. And who knows, even further, maybe retaining that trophy. But let's see. So that's good. And of course, before all of that happens, we have got a really, 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 really big game on Sunday. The first real big test that we've had this season so far. It is going to be a good one. So Man United, the top 2 teams in the league, going head to head in this early week 3 of the season. Wow, it's an exciting game, and I think it's a game that's going to tell us a lot more about both Arsenal and Manchester United. I think both of us have had 2 games to start the season with that. Yeah, we probably they both would have expected to have won. Man United have won the games fairly comfortably. We've won ours fairly comfortably, as you would expect. And now suddenly we've got to play each other, when it's a totally different story, isn't it? It's a game that could go either way. 2 teams that, if they play at their best, are capable of winning. Either team could win the game. Obviously, Man United have had that extra, I don't know if it's an advantage or not, the extra games they've had in the Champions League. They did get the victory, of course, the other night to go through to the group stage, as we mentioned. So we've had a week's rest. Is that an advantage? Sometimes playing games is actually good for momentum and stuff like that, especially if you're winning. But it's got the makings of being a very, very, very good game. It's generally a quite exciting game away at Man United anyway. Over the years, there's been some great games. Obviously, the last 2 seasons have been draws, haven't they? When we've been leading and letting a late goal and thrown it away. So that's something that we need to improve on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it is going to be, and plus as well, it's a game where if we go there and win, you know, beating United away, who are top of the league, I think that'll be a real statement and say that actually, yes, this team has got what it takes. Especially when you look, we'll come on to the other fixtures in a minute. Chelsea have got a game that they're probably going to win, so we can't afford to drop behind them really. So it's such an important game. I mean, Andreas, obviously it's going to be a great game to win. But how do you see it playing out? Because I think it's very difficult to call this one. It could go either way, couldn't it, on the day?
Exactly. It's the absolute top game of this weekend. And it's no matter which team wins, it's a statement win. If United wins, everybody will see, oh, this United team is title contender. And if we win away at United, this would be a statement too. But it's two top teams, and if you see how United has started the season, very, very strong. And the game against Brann, 3-0 at home. Once again, a hat-trick from Elizabeth Thailand. Oh, this will be a difficult task. And is it an advantage that United has 2 more games played so far? I think they will have tired legs. Of course, mentally, it's an advantage for them because they have gone through, they have qualified for the first time for the Champions League. And they are on a mental high now, of course. But if it's a tough game and if it's an open game, that they will have tired legs, and maybe they will have to make changes. Will the manager make changes? Normally, he doesn't like to. He sticks to the same lineup, to the same 11 players. This could be an advantage for us. But anyway, away. At Lee Sports, which was always difficult for us. And what we can't do is that we need 20 or 30 minutes to get into the game. Then it could be game over if Talent or Park or Elatoon, Rolfe, they have so many quality players in the offensive part. If they score 1 or 2 goals, then it might be too late for us. Get out concentrated from the first whistle, from the first second, and don't fall behind. I think the longer the game goes, the better for us, because they will have tired legs because of their game on Thursday. But anything can happen. So it's if things go bad, we can lose there. It's possible because it's one of the top teams in the league. And the normal prediction would be a draw, but so far as we started the season, we had always a full week to prepare. So I want to be optimistic, and I say we will win there. It will be very tough, and it won't be easy, but we will win 2-1 away at United, and everybody will see this Arsenal team wants to win the WSL this season. I'm optimistic.
Well, I must admit, I'm feeling fairly optimistic. I've got to be honest. You know, I know we haven't run at Man United away very often, but I don't know. I just feel as though this team is starting to really. You can see how it's all coming together. You know, if we can just start the game stronger, which I'm sure we will, then I've got no doubt we can definitely get the win. Vicky says they have a strong first 11, but they don't have the depth if they get some injuries. Well, yeah, that's probably true. LG says I'm worried about this game. We don't have a great record away at Lee Sports Village. No, we don't. Chelsea always win. That's the difference. Mallard always scores against us. Well, she does actually. Mallard does always seem to score against us. And we do tend to concede a goal, let's be honest. We haven't kept a clean sheet yet, so I'm assuming Man United will score. Vicky says they're mainly be our first proper test. They're looking strong. Park doing well. Yeah, well, Park's a good player, isn't it? You're absolutely right. And Joe says Rene goals per game average is 3.4. Is insane. Yeah, it's mental. But that's what I said. We concede a goal, and I'm not panicking really because I'm thinking, well, we're bound to score a few because we always do. But I think this game will be different because I think Man U are a different kettle of fish to what we've played so far. Ag says, man, you've got Rolfo, Sam versions, Ignotti. Yeah, we've got Steiner. Come on, we've got Steiner. That's all it matters. So we'll be fine. Greg says, we'll bury United. We've got depth in our squad. They don't. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Joe says, Man United defence looked very good yesterday. Yeah, I think defensively, they'll probably just edge it against us defensively. But I think going forward, we edge it against them, which makes it an interesting game, doesn't it, really, I suppose, in a way. Vicky says, I'm going to the game, can't wait. Oh, wow, that's going to be great. I hope you have a great day. It's going to be good. There'll be loads of Arsenal fans there. Of course there will, as always is. Greg says, we'll win 3-1, but expecting us to score 4 or 5. Wow. Against Man United away, that would be something quite special, wouldn't it? I mean, let's hope you're right, but I'm not so sure if we'll score 4 or 5. John says, Man United scored 4 and 5 in their last 2 games, exactly the same number as us. Could be a high scoring draw. So yes, very difficult to predict. I think it's difficult to predict. Yeah. Colin says Rene must start her strongest team, not relying on substitutes in the second half. Well, I mean, you say the strongest team, but with some of the quality of the substitutes we've got, it's difficult to know what the strongest team is. Hopefully, Chloe Kelly's fit, because even if she doesn't start, she's a great player to have around. So I'd like to see her back. Hopefully, she will be. LG says we need a Russo revenge tour on Sunday. Yeah. Did she score there last season? And then obviously we conceded that daft goal, didn't we? But anyway, Egg says yes, Stina, Frido and Russo will score 3-1. Well, a lot of confident predictions, which is good. I thought people would be a little bit more like, I don't know, maybe a draw or a narrow defeat or something. But it's good that everyone's optimistic. I'm optimistic, I've got to be honest. What did you give a score prediction, Andreas?
Yeah, I said 2-1 for us.
2-1 to us, yeah. I think we'll win, actually. I'm fairly confident, actually. I know it's a tough game. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to play well. But I think we've got the quality, both in the starting 11 and off the bench, to win this game. And as you rightly said, Andreas, whoever wins, it's a big statement, isn't it? To beat one of your title rivals early in the season is a real big message, isn't it, to show everybody. And I say, because Chelsea have got a fairly easy game coming up on Sunday, you'd expect them to win. We can't afford to drop behind them, really. LG says it has 2-2 written all over it. Well, yeah, it kind of does, actually. Joe's gone 3-2, yeah, to us. Yeah, no, it could be 3-2, yeah. I'm going to predict that we win. And I do predict there's going to be goals. We'll definitely concede. I don't think there's much doubt about that. But we've got the attack to win this game. See, 3-1's kind of. I'm thinking of 3-1. I think what'll happen is I think we'll get a third goal right late on when they're pressing for the equaliser. We'll count them and get a third goal. So I'm gonna. It's gonna be a tight game, but I think we'll be 2-1 up with a couple of minutes to go, and then we'll get a third goal on the break and win it 3-1, and it'll be happy days. Just because I just can't see how they can stop us. They can't stop us from scoring, can they? They just can't. We're just too good. And yeah, I think that'll happen. So we're going to definitely win. John says, I'll go 4-3 when Olivia winner. Well, of course, it was 4-3, wasn't it, at the Emirates at the end of last season when we beat Man United. I know it was a strange game. But Ag says, Swedish TV sending the match. Oh, they are they? I don't know if they are. I think it's on BBC over here. Greg says, we haven't got a real test for another 4 games. Well, no, I think United are a test, my friend. I do. LG says, Smith should be starting. You buy a player like that for these type of games. Yeah, absolutely. I think she will. We said last week, I felt last week that West Ham, she would come off the bench. I just didn't feel it was a game to start her. I think this game is a game to start her. You're right. That's why you have a player like that, don't you? So I think she will start again. I'm hoping Chloe Kelly's going to be fit, maybe only for the bench. So Beth deserves to start again anyway after her performance last week. I thought she was really good. So, yeah. But it's interesting because Caitlin Ford played well. Do you leave Caitlin Ford out and put Olivia Smith in? Or I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. But that's when you've got a good squad. That's what the manager gets paid for, to make those tough decisions. Do you think Caitlin Ford will start or Olivia Smith? Or do you think Beth will start or Chloe Kelly?
Yes.
What's it going to be?
I think Beth will start, and on the left wing, I see Olivia starting. It's a game that's made for her. We need a pacey winger, and and then in second half, you can bring Caitlin, and as we said, she's annoying for a defender who gets tired. So I think Olivia will start, and Beth, and of course Leslie. The big question is, will Frida start or Vicky Pelova? Yeah, I think the more defensive option would be starting Vicky and bringing Frida in second half, because Frida had a good game in away at West Ham. It was not because of her performance that she was subbed at halftime, but it was just tactical. And maybe it would be good to bring her on if needed in the second half, and start with Vicky, who is also a more physical player, and we need this in the first half against United.
No, I'll probably do agree with that, actually. I mean, see, I think these are the sort of games that Frida's actually really well suited for. I think this is a game that really suits Frida. Just the way that she plays, she's that sort of player that gets on the end of things. Yes, Vicky's more defensive for the structure of the team, maybe, and maybe that way then you can free Mariona to go a little bit further forward if you've got Vicky to sit deeper, maybe. I don't know, but it's the good thing is that we've got so many options that I could pick one starting 11, you could pick another starting 11, everybody could pick a different one, Renee will pick another one, and it would all be a good starting 11, even if it's got different players in it, because that's the strength that we've got. And I think the defence pretty much picks itself anyway. Obviously, Leslie Russo picks herself anyway, because she's always going to play, and it's just the structure around that. And obviously, Mariona's always going to play. Kim Little's probably always going to play. But there's so many other options in the other areas of the pitch, especially the wide areas. And I say that number 10 position. So it's interesting, isn't it? And getting that team sheet coming through is quite exciting these days, because you think to yourself, who's going to play? Who's going to start? And that's going to be really interesting on Sunday, isn't it? To see who's going to start. Egg says, I forgot about Olivia. She'll score, so 4-1. Well, no, that's fine. Why not? Joe says, London are 2-0 up against Everton. Well, it could be their first win. Colin says, important game Sunday, important awards on Monday. See, I'm not sure if they're important awards at all. I'm not sure they are. The prestige of them, if you win them, is great, I suppose. You could, and it's nice, but I don't think they're that important, really, because of the way that they're kind of awarded, as opposed to, I'd like to see votes by, I don't know, the public or something. Greg says, Ballon d'Or will get player, manager, and team of the year. Well, we might well do, and that would be great. But I'm not really sure it means anything when, for example, Beth Mead missed out a few years ago when she was clearly the best player in the world at that time and didn't get it. So I don't hold that as being whoever wins the Ballon d'Or. For me, doesn't necessarily mean they're the best player in the world. It just means they've got the vote they're just popular. But anyway, it'd be nice to win it. Obviously, it'd be nice for Leslie to win it. But anyway, LG says I'd bench Beth. She's lost her pace for these type of games. Caitlin is much more dynamic. Well, no, Caitlin is more dynamic, but I thought Beth had a decent game, and Beth is a big game player. She shows time and again in the big game, whether it's in the WSL for Arsenal, whether it's for England, she tends to do something special in the big games, Beth. So I don't know. I think it's a tough one actually. Joe says actually Jade Riviera went off injured, so that would give us a chance on the left wing. Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't watch the game. I just saw the result. Greg says Kelly and Smith will start. Beth and Ford come on second half when United are tired. Yeah, and obviously Stina as well comes off the bench and scores every week. John says voted for by Global Footy Press and pundits would be better. They do that with some award. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I suppose so, but I think the press and the pundits are quite biased anyway. So you're going to get the winners at the favourites as opposed to I think there's a difference in life, isn't there? And I'm not just in football, but I think in life in general, things that are popular aren't always the best. And unfortunately, most awards are won by the people that are most popular, not necessarily the best at what they do. And I know it's difficult to judge that, I suppose. But, if you look at music, if you look at the arts, or you look at TV and film, all the awards don't necessarily go to the best. They go to who's popular. And it'd be the same with the Ballon d'Or. It's who's popular, really, isn't it? And it's usually a Barcelona player. usually, isn't it? Let's be honest. So I don't know, and that's why I don't hold too much weight by it. If we don't win any of them on Monday, I'm not going to lose any sleep. Oh my God, I won't be that bothered. If we win any of them, it's great, fantastic, well done to that person, player, manager, whatever it is, or everybody. But for me, I don't look at that and think, oh, that means anything. To me, it doesn't mean anything. It's just an award. A popularity contest, really, isn't it? LG says, jury is still out on Beth Mead for me. We need an upgrade like a Trinity Rodman. Well, I mean, we've kind of got, I wouldn't necessarily say an upgrade, but we've got a replacement in Chloe Kelly, haven't we? And Chloe Kelly's a great player as well. It's good to have options. Trinity Rodman would be a great option. Of course, she's a great player, but I think Beth's still got a lot to offer. And I thought her performance against West Ham showed that she has still got a lot to offer. If she starts on Sunday, I won't be bothered. I'll be quite happy if she starts. I'll be quite happy if Chloe Kelly starts. I'm not that bothered. But we've got great players, and I want to see them all. Joe says, I think the most prestigious awards are player votes. Yeah, but they probably are, because if you're voted by your fellow players, that means something, doesn't it? Because they're the players that you're playing against and playing with week in, week out. And if you get voted for by them, that means more. It means more to the players, absolutely it does. Whether it means more to everybody else, I don't know. The Ballon d'Or seems to have a lot of meaning behind it, but for me, I don't think it does really. When you look at, for example, in the men's Ballon d'Or, Thierry Henry was robbed of it when he should have won it. Beth Mead was robbed of it for the women when they should have won it. So, it's clearly not the best player that wins, is it? Always. John says, Beth is back to her old self, played much better last 2 games compared to the end of last season. That's why she started last week. Well, I think she started last week because Chloe Kelly was injured, although we don't know what would have happened had Chloe Kelly been fit, because Chloe Kelly played really well against London City Lionesses, didn't she? So I don't know. But I agree. I think Beth has had a good start to the season. I think she has. She's got a few assists already. Is she looking back to her old self? Maybe not quite, but she's getting there. And she's certainly a lot better. She started this season much better than, like you said, the end of last season. Absolutely. I think maybe the Euros has helped as well, because I think she had a big impact in that in games. And I think she realises she's going to have to step up her game if she's going to get to start matches, because now the competition is so much stronger and we've got such a bigger squad, and she doesn't want to be sitting on the bench, does she? Because that's not what Beth's about. So I think she's had to work harder, and we're going to see the benefits. And Vicky says, LG, take a look at Beth's stats. She's still a top player. No, I agree. She's a top player still. And we're lucky still to have her, and even if it might only be one more season. LG says, Beth Mead was not the best player in 2022. Sam Kerr was. No, she wasn't. Beth Mead was player of the tournament, top scorer at the Euros. She won the Euros that season. You know what I mean? I'm not having it. Sam Kerr wasn't. No, Sam Kerr's not the best at anything. She's just a goal poacher. That's all she is. I don't like her. So she's not the best at anything. So don't even go there. But anyway, she scored more goals. That's it. I thought Beth was the best player in the world in 2022. But anyway, but yeah. So let's see what happens on Sunday. It's going to be a cracking game. I don't have any doubt about that. And it's going to be the WSL at its best, isn't it? It's going to be 2 of the top teams going head to head. It's going to be a great game, and we're going to love it. And it's a strange kickoff time as well, 10-3. Now I don't know why it's 10-3, but what I do know is Arsenal men's game kicks off at 4:30. Against Man City on Sunday. Now, what you would have thought they would have done was thought, okay, look, some people are going to want to watch both games. Of course they are, right? It's Arsenal, Man United in the women. It's Arsenal, Man City in the men. Of course you're going to want to watch both games. So why start the game at 10-3 when it's going to still finish after the men's game has started? Why not start it at 2:30 or 2:15 or 2 o'clock? And it's out of the way before the men's game starts. Why start it at 10-3? What stupid time to start the game? It's ridiculous. It's not even like it's going to be finished before the men's game starts. So it's just pointless. What a stupid time to start the game. If anybody knows why it's starting at 10-3, please let me know, because I have not got a clue. It seems mental. Is there something else going on at Lee Sports Village that we don't know about and they need to get it clear? I don't know, but anyway, I'm not sure. Joe says, I think Mead has had a great start. She's angry at being benched, and last weekend she played like a woman on a mission. Oh no, she definitely played like she was on a mission in that first half, didn't she? Christ, she was brilliant. LG says, I'm not a huge Beth Mead fan. No, I mean, everyone's got their own opinions of players, and that's fair enough. I happen to think, I agree that Beth Mead has had a couple of difficult years, shall we say, in terms of trying to find her form and her fitness. But I think she's playing well at the minute, and it's good to see, because I do love Beth. I think she's a great role model for women's football. I think she's a great player, and I think we want her to do well, and she's had a great start to the season, and that's important. Vicky says, "Who knew?" Yeah, he's been quite critical, to be fair, of Beth, but we don't mind. And he says, "The only two I like in Chelsea is Bjorn and Can." No, we don't like any of Chelsea, do we? None of them. I don't care where they're from. We don't like any of them. But they've got half the England team. I still don't like them. Joe says, "BBC are trying to disrupt Sky's viewing figures." Is that what it is, you think? I don't know. I can't understand the reason for it. Greg says it's late because BBC is showing the Athletics World Championships. Oh, is that the reason? Well, haven't they got two channels? Can't they show it on BBC Two? And have one on BBC Two, one on BBC One. I mean, I like watching the Athletics as well, but I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it? John says, "LG, drink a bottle of mead when you watch the match. Mead will look brilliant." Yeah, maybe that's true. But yeah, so it's going to be a great game Sunday. We're going to win, and we're going to be top of the league, and it's going to be great. Obviously, the games tonight, we've had two games tonight, which are going on right now, aren't they? So what's happening? I haven't actually checked the scores. I know Man City were 3. It's still 3-0 to Man City. It's 2-0 to London City against Everton. Wow, okay, and it's actually Isabel Goodwin's got both their goals. Peter Paz assist. That's good, isn't it? Well, so let's quickly run through the scores for Sunday's games then. Aston Villa, Liverpool. Andreas, what are you thinking? Aston Villa home to Liverpool?
It will be a win for Aston Villa. Liverpool started terrible in the season, and I think they will suffer and have a lot of problems. Villa started good. They also had a good performance against Chelsea. It was only 2-1, and Villa was pressing for the equalizer, and then Sam Kerr scored. But I think Villa is favored, and they will win 2-0 or 3-1 against Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Villa will beat Liverpool. Yeah, probably quite easily as well. Yeah, maybe 3-0 or something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, could be quite interesting. Brighton against West Ham. I thought West Ham gave us problems for a while last weekend, but obviously we beat them easily. They lost their other game as well. Brighton have got some good players. Obviously, Michelle still needs to score. Do you think Brighton will beat West Ham?
Yes, Brighton will beat them, and it's 2-0 to Brighton. That's what I expect.
I expect Brighton to win that. Yeah, Michelle's going to score a goal. She's bound to score one sooner or later, so we'll back her to score against West Ham. And of course, the other one's Chelsea versus Leicester. How many are Chelsea going to win by? That's the only question we really need to ask, isn't it, for this game?
Yeah, I think it might be 4-0 or 5-1 or so. Leicester's maybe the weakest team in the league, and Chelsea, even if they are not playing brilliant, they always find a way to score. And against the Leicester defense, even if Sonia is rotating, probably then there's enough quality for Chelsea to score about 4 or 5 goals. I just wanted to say Goodwin scored 2 goals for London City, and this is another proof how good Katie Reid was against Goodwin. She kept Goodwin quiet in this game, and everybody said before, Goodwin is a very, very good striker or a dangerous player, and she proves it by scoring 2 goals away at Everton. It's now 2-1. Everton has got one back.
Yeah, Everton got a penalty, so that might not be finished yet, that game. Maybe Everton can come back and get a draw. No, you're right, and I think Katie Reid's almost gone under the radar. She's had 2 really good games, I think. 2 really good games for Arsenal this season. We haven't really missed Leah Williamson defensively. I think bringing the ball out from the back and the long balls forward we've missed from Leah Williamson, but Katie's been brilliant. Greg's gone Chelsea 2, Leicester 6. I think the only way that would happen is if Chelsea got 4 players sent off or something stupid. I don't think that would happen otherwise. But yeah, I think Chelsea will probably. I think probably 5-0. Let's be honest, it's probably going to be 5-0 to Chelsea, and it'll be a really boring, crappy game that no one's going to be interested in watching. So yeah, you expect them to win. It's 2-1 to London City Lionesses now. We're into the last 15 minutes there, so can Everton get a point in that game? That'd be quite good, won't it? But yeah, obviously the games tonight are just a warm-up, aren't they, for Sunday, when it's the only game that anyone's interested in is Man United versus Arsenal from Lee Sports. If you are going to Manchester at the weekend, enjoy the game because it's going to be really good. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. There'll be loads of Arsenal fans there. and hopefully we'll produce the performance that we need to win that game. Joe says, Reed has been great cover for Williamson. She started the Russo goal. Yeah, she did. To be honest with you, I think Katie Reed has been brilliant, and I don't even know why we questioned that she would be, because we said last season she was playing at right back, looked a little bit not comfortable. Play a centre back, and she was always going to be much better. And she has been. She's so calm and composed on the ball. She reads the game well. You can see how much she's learned from Leah. It's incredible. She's almost like almost a mini version of Leah, isn't she? And what she's got the whole world ahead of her. John says Barclays Women's Super League channel will be streaming our match and the other 3 this weekend. Yeah, but I think our game's on the BBC anyway, isn't it? I think it's on BBC One or something anyway, our game. So I don't know if it will be on, because they said it was going to be on the YouTube channel the other week, the London game, and it wasn't. So I don't know. But anyway, there'll be plenty of ways to watch it, I'm sure. But join us here. I'll be here at, I don't know what time, about 2:30, whenever it is, so we can get looking at the game before the kick-off at the strange time of 2 for the Athletics, apparently. So there you go. So join us for that. So yeah, that is it. Friday is gone. The weekend is upon us, and it's going to be a wet weekend here by the look of it. But it's going to be an exciting weekend because there's some big football matches to come, of course, on Sunday. The women are playing a big game, and the men have got a big game as well. So it's going to be a big Sunday afternoon, which is going to be fun, isn't it? So thanks to all you guys for joining us again tonight. You've enjoyed the show. Thanks for all your comments, as always. Great to get you guys involved in the show as well. It's what we like to see. Joe says, cheers, boys. Great show as ever. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Ag as well. Good to see you as well, all the way from Sweden. So yeah, I'll see you Sunday at about 2:30 for the game. That's going to be good. OLG says Harlem football, anti-football is well documented in the men's game. I'm wondering who plays Harlem ball in women's football. Maybe Jonas. No, don't you say that about Jonas. We love Jonas. So you join us on Sunday. Andreas, of course, it's been great to have you on the show as always. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, of course I did. Talking about our games and the Champions League was really good. And one information for next week, next Saturday, we're playing at home against Villa, and I was successful in this random draw for the welcoming of the team. You are allowed to enter the media center and await the team buses coming in front of the entrance of the cabins. And I was lucky. I will be there, and of course I will be filming when the buses arrive and the players come in. It's no meet and greet. It's just a welcoming. They don't stop for making photos or signing anything, because it's directly before the game. They are already concentrated, but you can cheer them, and it's something special. I had this against Vålerenga last year, and now will be the second time. We'll be very close, and I'm looking forward to this. And it will be, I hope it will be something special for the matchday vlog for the Villa game. And
I think that's why they let you get the tickets, because they know that you'll do it in the vlog, and it'll make the vlog better. So I think they picked you on purpose. I don't think it was an accident. I don't think it was a mistake. I think they did it on purpose because they wanted you there. But that's going to be good for the Villa game.
When will we do our show next week? I'm flying on Friday evening.
We can do it Thursday. Thursday will work again.
Yeah, would work for me, yes.
Yeah, Thursday. We'll do it Thursday next week. Yes, I know we have to keep moving the show about in a minute this season. It's been games on a Friday, or Andreas flying over to London and stuff. So, but it's fine. We'll be Thursday next week then for that. Of course, I'll be on Sunday for the game anyway against Man United. So join me for that. So yeah, thanks to all you guys for all your comments and joining us for the show. Please give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks to Andreas, of course, as always. And I will see you on Sunday. Man United versus Arsenal, first versus second in the WSL. What a game. What a game that's going to be. It's going to be brilliant, isn't it? So join us for that on Sunday, and we'll see you then in start of the weekend. Let's enjoy it. Let's have a good weekend, everyone, guys. And yeah, we will see you on Sunday. Ag says, thanks, Rich and Andreas. Greg says, night, Rich, the Lord in the chat. Have a great weekend. Indeed, everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday anyway. So it's going to be good. And of course, before we go, it's always the same, isn't it? Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it. Let's beat Man United. Let's go top of that league. Let's do it, guys. See you Sunday.